Welcome to step 15. This is the final stock breakout for the project, and we're going to be working on the 2 leg braces. And what we need is rough dimensions of 7/8 or 1 inch by 1.5 inches by 14. So number one, with help from your teacher, select material using rough dimensions from above. So rough dimensions up here. These are the finished dimensions, which we're going to get to by the end of this lesson. Note where possible, use material from the short end rack. So come ask your teacher and help you select some pieces from the short ends rack that will achieve the leg brace. So number 2, cut 2 pieces approximately 14 inches at the compound miter saw or the radial arm saw. Joint 1 good face, each piece, 1 good edge. Don't forget to reference RF and RE. Use push sticks because we're below the fence, and plane both pieces to 3/4 at the thickness planer. And remember, reference face down on the table. All right, so follow me over to here. And this demonstration without the cyclones on. So quickly, I'm going to find my good piece, my good edge, and I'm going to mark 14 inches. This one's pretty close right now. And while I have the other one right here, I'm also going to mark that one as well. So I'm actually going to mark the other face right here so I can see it. 14 inches, it's approximation. Lock the saw. Now we're going to come over to the jointer, and we're going to joint 1 good face, 1 good edge. So this one here already has a pretty good face, and I'm actually not even going to, actually I may as well do this one quickly. Adjust the table, and we don't need the other push stick because we've got find the least wobbly side. Good. Maybe one more pass. Good. Reference that face, RF. Now we're going to do the edge. And because, again, we're below the top of the fence, we're going to use 2 push sticks, like so. So I got my reference face on the fence, and I want, actually this is a better face, like so. Reference face, there. Also RE for reference edge, and reference edge over here. And now over to the planer. And at this point here, we're not going to do this to save time, but you would set the planer up as in previous steps, and you would plane your material to 3/4. And in our case here, you could use your gauge to make sure that it fits in there. Those pieces will leave for another time, but come back over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to, after the planer, we're going to rip pieces to finish width of 1 1/4 inch. Ensure the splitter is in place and the feather board is set up. Use a long-handled push stick between the fence and the blade. So, as we skip the planer step here, we have these 2 boards that are 3/4 of an inch. And you should have over here, you can hardly see it, but there's a reference edge and a reference edge. And so I've got my splitter in place. I want to make sure that the blade's at the right height. So I make sure that the top of the gullet, bottom of the gullet is at the top of the wood. And then I take my tape measure and I set this width up between the fence for 1 inch and slightly over 1/4 because we're going to joint one edge. Lock that in place. Bring my feather board in. The reason we're using the feather board is because it's going to be pretty tight in there. So I bring the feather board up to the start of the teeth on the blade. Lock everything down and make sure that you can push your material in and make it difficult to push it back through again, or rather pull it back out. Alright, so these ones look like they're good. And now I'm ready to rip, and preferably have someone catch for you, but I'm going to be able to do this myself because I've got experience. So I've got the long handle push stick ready to go here. I've got the one guard down because the other one would be in the way, which wouldn't be helpful. And now I'm ready to rip. Got the reference edge against the fence. Left hand holding down. I'm going to push it in. Reference edge on the second one. Make sure that the push stick is against the fence. Turn it off. And then we're going to come over here. And the two edges that were just cut at the table saw need to be jointed, and very imperative, important that you use the push stick. The reason we're doing this is just to clean up that rough edge. And we want to make sure that we have the right type of push stick. One cleanup edge. And now, so we've just achieved step number 6. We've jointed the edge with the saw marks on it, 1 or 2 passes, preferably just one. Now we're going to go to the final step, which is cut both pieces to the finished length of 13 1/4 at either the compound miter saw or the table saw crosscut sled. Use a stop block to ensure accuracy. So follow me over here. In previous lessons, we've used the table saw sled, but today I'm going to show you the compound miter saw. So over here at the compound miter saw, remember these other pieces here. These are your seat tops. So we're actually going to use those for a reference to cut these to length. So what we want to do first is make sure we have two good ends. So compound miter saw, make sure that your materials are good pieces on the left side. Come down, touch the tooth to the material. What I want to do is just reference to make sure that you know that that's a good piece. Okay, I'm going to do the same for the other one. Take your time cutting through so you don't get any tear out. Again, reference the end. So I've got 2 good ends. Those 2 good ends with the reference X are going to come over here. And what I'm going to do is take my seat top and use that as a reference. And what I'm going to do is just line them up on the end like so. And come over, make a mark. And I come over here. And what I want to do actually is I need to make the mark on the opposite, on the leading edge out here, so the table saw tooth, or the blade on the compound miter saw can touch. If you can just come over here, filmer. I want to come over here. I set that over there, back up a bit, and then notice I have a stop block here, and then I can take my stop block and clamp it like so. And then I'm ready to just confirm again that I can use my second piece. Good reference end over here. Bring it nice and snug against the fence. And then I should have two pieces these pieces, the top and the braces, which are the exact same. And then we'll see you at step 16, which is the final sanding process. Thank you.